that we will become an absolute election disaster for the Christian Democratic Union. Katharina Reiche, our Federal Minister of Economics, says it clearly: you shouldn't make such a fuss. And whether you might ever get anything back from the increased fuel prices, they'll only decide that next year after the elections are over. She said that again today. She wanted to address problems and also present solutions, but she still owes us the solution. We're going to take a look at that today because what she actually said is an absolute disaster for all working people here in Germany.
We are strengthening the Federal Cartel Office, which will have the ability to quickly review and stop price increases in wholesale trade. This means that in the future, companies will have to explain any suspicion of abuse themselves and how the prices are formed.
Respect, now the wholesalers are already getting it, and now they're flooded with even more reporting obligations. What you're describing right now is pretty much the worst case scenario for this economy. Even more people who only deal with paperwork, and if I may say, I have to tell you that too. And if you're afraid that you yourself are committing abuse, then you have to turn yourself in now. This is simply no longer acceptable. This economy is absolutely up against the wall. And now to take such steps, only the Social Democratic Party could come up with something like that. By the way, if you want to support me, since YouTube doesn't really like this channel anymore, feel free to leave me a like and a subscription, so we can bring this channel back to the front, because all I know is that YouTube doesn't want that. Or rather, this government doesn't want you to know the truth about the economy, politics, and also about this government. How quickly it will come to an end, and what a huge disaster this will be for Germany.
Storage operators are already warning about high costs for the upcoming refilling of the storage facilities, which are now more or less empty after the winter. To what extent does this worry you, and what measures could be taken to counteract it?
Then feel free to leave me a like and a subscription so we can bring this channel back up, because I just know that YouTube doesn't want that. Or rather, this government doesn't want you to know the truth about the economy, politics, and also about this government. How quickly it will come to an end, and what a huge disaster this will be for Germany.
There is a discussion about creating a secured reserve that is separated from the market. According to which criteria, for what purpose, and in what amount, this is currently being determined by expert reports.
Then feel free to leave me a like and a subscription so that we can bring this channel back to the front, because I just know that YouTube doesn't want that. Or rather, this government doesn't want you to know the truth about the economy, politics, and also about this government. How quickly it will come to an end, and what a huge disaster this will be for Germany.
There are also suggestions to lower the electricity tax and suspend carbon monoxide to pricing. What do you think about that?
I would like to say the following. We don't know how long the crisis will last, and we don't have any supply shortages in the face of a looming scarcity, which we actually don't have.
So the question is, she's constantly getting herself tangled up in contradictions now. Do we have a shortage now? Is that why strategic reserves are being released, which she told us just a few days ago? So a global shortage? Yes. Is that why the strategic reserves are being released now? Or is there no shortage since supply is sufficient, but prices have soared and the cartel office should handle it? What she's saying there, she's just getting herself more and more tangled up. Just watch the speech yourself in Contradictions. She's talking about a shortage. No, actually not. And then she immediately starts to stutter, starts blinking again and talking completely irrationally. So we have the shortage, but there are elections, and that's pretty unwise, especially for the elections. But if gas prices are soon at €3, then you can explain to us when you'll get your money back, and just listen to this now.
Secondly, we should make sure to protect public finances. But thirdly, we should also make sure that, for example, if the federal government has additional revenue from value-added tax, it could possibly return this to commuters. A new law has been written stating that we will review its effectiveness after at most 1 year, which makes sense.
Man, what a coincidence. Do you know when? When will they meet? shortly after the North Rhine-Westphalia election, just shortly after, which is in April, and now it's March. And just imagine, they even won it somehow with lies. And then they come along and say, yeah, no, for the citizens, we didn't have anything left, like commuter allowances. The price regulated itself back down to 2.90 euros after 7 or 9 months. So, of course, I'm exaggerating a bit here, but they're already going down that road again, yes, so that the elections can't be affected. The main focus in all these statements is that next year they somehow want to get rid of the strong Bundestag elections with the high Bundesrat, to keep as many jobs as possible at the Christian Democratic Union and Social Democratic Party, that nobody should know that they have completely run this country into the ground, and you out there simply shouldn't know about it. And now we come to a point. She should have actually spoken plainly with us, because she was addressed about it directly, and I call that pretty disastrous.
Sondervermögen, special infrastructure funds. There have been several studies today showing that a large part of the special funds is supposed to be diverted from its original purpose. What do you say about that? Do the plans need to be changed?
Here's a very quick thing on the side. By the way, the Federal Constitutional Court has already received the figures today and already has the case and will probably discuss it at some point. Now that they've installed the clever judges there, I don't think much will come of it yet, but listen carefully to what she has to say now, because this is an absolute violation of the Constitution.
The spending of the funds, and therefore compliance with the Constitution and the law, is the responsibility of the Federal Ministry of Finance, the supervision over them. It seems to me that this is also regularly monitored. If that shouldn't be the case, the Ministry of Finance certainly knows when it has to act.
I would like to end this video now with a little story. Just ask the thief, the fraudster, the liar, or even the robber, whether he doesn't decide for himself to maybe think about whether he did something wrong. And then let him monitor the whole thing to see if maybe at some point he needs to reconsider his actions. That's exactly what they just said, nothing else. Lars Klingbeil is embezzling funds directly into the budget. He ordered it that way. It's his department. And now we're supposed to say yes to this fraudster, that he's probably already aware of it and that he'll step in if the whole thing is illegal. While now the Federal Constitutional Court has to take care of this again, which means other cases might be left behind. I think this is going to get interesting. And then maybe not after all, because the Federal Constitutional Court might say at the end of the legislative period, you did some bad things there. Now, there will be new elections, or the election has to be repeated, etc. The damage is done and people are running again and voting for the Christian Democratic Union and voting for the Social Democratic Party for a stable government here in Germany. But I won't allow that, even if it's the last thing I do.